Hey girl, I'm not here to tell you to get over it. I'm here to walk you through the parts that nobody prepared you for. They didn't prepare me either, okay? And to show you how beauty and brujeria can hold you when nothing else is making any damn sense. But listen, the truth is the woman that you're becoming can't be born without the death of the one that you outgrew. That's just a fact. And tonight, we're not glamorizing the glam up, but we're telling the truth about what it really feels like to lose everything that you thought your life was going to be, right? And still be expected to function. Divorce isn't just paperwork. And that's what they don't prepare us for either. But it's the death of a timeline. It's the unraveling of a woman who once believed that she was safe. And yet, there's something sacred about that breakdown, something that nobody talks about. So, welcome to the Siren Hour. If you're new here, I'm Zelkai, the modern day priestess, spiritual teacher, and the founder of the Badass Sanctum. And I guide women, especially those who are navigating life after deep emotional rupture, through sacred beauty, energetic reinvention, and the forgotten art of spiritual power. I'm probably going to be looking around a lot because I am in my car. The storm knocked out the internet and the Wi-Fi and all of that. So if y'all see me doing a lot, that's why. But go ahead and get your notes because I have mine because we're going to get started. We're going to really talk about what life really looks like after divorce. And it's a sacred breakdown for us girlies who know that there is life on the other side. So one, let's talk about the grieving process. We don't always get that we have to go through a grieving process after we've gone through any emotional heartache, a breakup, a divorce, a breakdown, going through leaving one religion and going to another, or just awakening to your spiritual beliefs. Leaving any type of system requires grieving the process because it's a death. And we die so many times during the process, after the process. And you need to allow yourself space to actually grieve. And you're going to go through all of those steps. I forgot what each step is when a person dies, but it's that unbelief stage, it's the anger, it's the denial, it's the hurt and the pain and the sadness. And then you get to a place of acceptance, right? So you want to give yourself time and space to really go through all of that because you got to let go of the dream. I know y'all plan to get this house and to live over here and to do this and do that. I know y'all planned that, right? But we got to let it go because that's not what's happening now. The timeline. You thought you were going to be retired and traveling by a certain age, but now, because this has happened, this has put you on a different timeline. And that's okay. Let the timeline go. Let it go. The version of you that was attached to the marriage, let her ass go. She gone. She don't exist anymore. And you have to let it go, and you have to give yourself time to process that letting go. And it's a daily process. Sometimes you got to take it not just day by day, but hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second. Some days I had to in that basement, like it was rough. But what I want to offer for you is let your beauty rituals be your grief companions. So as you're going through this stage of grieving, I want you to use your beauty rituals to help you through that process. Whenever you're feeling a certain way, whether it's down or you're having a low point that day, go get extremely beautiful. If you're a makeup girly, put your makeup on. Put it on the best you ever put it on. If you are just a skincare girly, go to the spa, get you a really good facial. Put on your best outfit, your most expensive perfume, and really let those be your companions through the process, okay? And then number two, when you're in the basement, Now, you may not be physically in the basement like I was, but when you're at the emotional rock bottom place that you can go, that place inside of you where you start to feel invisible because people don't understand, or he stripped your confidence away, or he stripped your so-called friends away, your mutual friends that you had, when you start feeling unworthy to be seen, when you get spiritually disoriented because the things that you were taught, you realize this shit don't work. It's not working. And you don't know which way to go. You don't know which way to turn, right? That's when I turn to my beauty rituals. That's when my 4-hour bath times, they gave me a rope in the dark, something to hold on to, something to pull me up, right? And then step 3, or phase 3, when you're in that in-between stage, you're in the in-between. It's lonely. You're not the person that you used to be. You're not the girl that you know you want to be and that you see you can be and that you know you're supposed to be, right? It's kind of foggy. You don't really know how to feel your way around. You don't know what's really going on. You know, that's when you use your spiritual basics, if you have them. So you get into your cleansing, your protection, your altar work, and those can hold you in this space. That's why I created the badass sanctum for women who are in that in-between space, so I can help guide you through that, because that is a very confusing place to be. You feel stuck. You feel like you just spinning your wheels. Like, I'm doing all the things, but nothing's happening. I'm not that version yet that I see myself being, but I know I'm not that same person that walked into the basement. So where do I go from here? What do I do? Right? And then the death of the ego, the death of identity lost, because now you're not so-and-so's wife. I used to get that all the time. It used to drive me crazy, actually, because people, I don't know if they even knew my name, but it wouldn't be like, oh, hey, there's Zokai. It would be, oh, that goes such and such wife. Hey, Mrs. Such and such. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I have a name. I had a name before I was so-and-so's wife. And then you start to think, well, now who the hell am I now? Because I'm definitely not so-and-so's wife. So where do I go from here? It's a death. They don't prepare us for this. They just go, oh, the marriage is ending. You're going to go get your divorce, and then you're going to have a freedom party, and then life can be whatever you want it to be. Not exactly. Not exactly, right? Then you have the spiritual betrayal for some of us. And then sometimes silence from spirit. You like, hello, where the hell is everybody? Where's anybody out there type of vibe, right? Because everything is dying. Everything is dying to give room and make room for a rebirth that needs to happen. And you can use your beauty as a ritual of burial and surrender. And then the rebirth, right? So this gives you glimpses of new desires, choosing softness and seduction, and sacred power again. Sacred power again. And this is the space where you get to decide, actually, in the death process, when you down in the grave, that's when you get to decide and really find out, what do I like? Who am I going to be? You're rebirthing, you're coming out. You may not be all the way ready to go all the way out into the public yet, and you need a sacred container to hold you while you get some things together. What I want to look like now? How do I want to dress? What do I like to eat? Where do I really like to go? What really gets on my damn nerves? What do I not give a fuck about anymore? What is it that I don't care about anymore? Just rediscovering who you are in this phase. in this stage and who you're becoming. What does she like? What does she not like? What does she want? What are you even looking for if you want another partner? This is the stage where you do all of those things and they don't tell us. You're going to have to figure this out. You need to know who it is that you're going to become after you have this divorce or this breakup or leave this tradition, right? So you start to reclaim your image. You start to reclaim a signature scent that's now going to define you. And when people smell it around, they're going to be like, ooh, that smell like that's okay, right? You're going to find your voice. And I guarantee you it's going to be different. It's going to be very unfamiliar. And for some people, it's going to be uncomfortable. But that's not your problem. That's theirs, right? You're going to get your new wardrobe because the clothes that you had, those outfits, that was for her. We not her no more. We're becoming something different. We're rebirthing a different version of ourselves. We are evolving into the next level of who we are. And then sensuality. What does that look like for you now? Because now you don't have to lie. If it ain't good, it ain't good. Right? And then the mirror. They don't tell you that you got to face yourself raw. You got to really get in that mirror and be unfiltered when you do so and say, who am I now? Who am I? I went through a spiritual ceremony and we could not look in the mirror for 3 months. And then once I was finally allowed to look in the mirror, I was like, who? Is this me? But in a good way. In a good way. I had a different glow, just a whole different thing going on. But I didn't have on any makeup, no filters, no nothing. It was just me and that mirror. And you really get to see and understand that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And it's like, what is my soul craving? What is it that I've been hiding from and not really facing? Those are things that you got to face when you get in front of that mirror. And this matters because when you begin to see a new woman staring back at you, at first you don't fully trust her yet. You like, wait a minute, I don't really know. I don't know shorty like that, right? But the more that you begin to look in that mirror and really get truthful with yourself and let her tell you the truth, the new truth, then you start to rebuild that trust and you like, oh, that is me. I do like that. I don't like that. I do desire this. I am going to move like that. And the reintroduction. So re-entering the world can be very scary, especially for people who around you, they might mean well, but honestly, people really can't handle change. Most people can't handle change, and people don't like to see the ones that they thought they knew change and become a different version of themselves. It makes them uncomfortable because that means for them, like, damn, do I need to look at some things about myself? Do I need to change a little bit? And so now when you re-enter the world, you're going to have new boundaries. You're going to have a new standard of beauty. You're going to have a new energetic frequency, and you want to get comfortable in that. You really want to sit with that in your skin and start doing rituals for sovereignty, because that's the goal. You are no longer going to be palatable and submitting to these people and systems and programs. We're not doing that no more. When it's time to reintroduce ourselves, what Jay said, allow me to reintroduce myself. And you're going to tell them who the new version of you is. Who is that? And when you go from healing to embodying, that's when the other people really start noticing. I'm not talking about the people that knew you, but new people. That's the deepest shift inside of you is when you start embodying those things that you have now rebirth, and you're now reintroducing yourself. And then there's the anointing. And that's the sacred acknowledgement that this wasn't a breakdown. You thought it was a breakdown, but it's a divine initiation. Um, and that's where you begin to see yourself now as the priestess of your own life, right? And you understand that the process was necessary. It may not always have felt good, because I guarantee you it's not going to feel good at all. But it's necessary. It's necessary to fully go through those steps and honor yourself while you're going through that, and really allow yourself time and space, and be kind to yourself. It's a hard process. So speak kindly to yourself, treat yourself kindly, reintroduce pleasure into your world if that's something that you, and I'm pretty sure you got away from it. If you were a wife and a mother, this hat, that hat, business owner, CEO, dot, dot, dot. And there probably was a period where you forgot your own pleasures. So go have a good time rediscovering those things. Now, if you felt seen tonight, if you're somewhere in the sacred breakdown and you're wondering how to feel beautiful again in the midst of all of it, I want to invite you to something soft, sacred, and completely complimentary. It's called Beauty and Brujeria. It's a 3-day experience, right? And I show you how beauty isn't just something that you put on. I show you how it's really a spell, how it can be a shield, a mirror, and a weapon of rebirth for you. So whether you're grieving or you're rebuilding or you're just ready to feel like you again, this is your invitation to come be held, be seen, and be reawakened. So the link is in the description or in the comments. And this is really your first step back to yourself.